Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. You know, we always like to bring people on to kind of give us a little better explanation about where we stand with certain things, and we're always glad to have Paula Rome with us. Paula, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
All right, and Paula, of course, customer service manager of the Bayou region with Entergy of Louisiana. And you know, we've been dealing with a lot of things going on. Ida was certainly a big deal, but you guys have been kind of thinking and planning about what to do about that. Give us a little bit of a status update and see where we're moving forward with it.
So, you know, Keith, everybody always asks, you know, after a storm, we've had quite a number of storms that's hit our area.
Right.
But in the last 50 years, they've had major storms, 9 major storms that's hit the U.S. that were 4 and 5, category 4 and 5.
Yeah, and that's tremendous damage, no matter where you are, a 4 and a 5, and 9 of those. 9 in 50 years, I mean, that's one every 10 to 12 years. And it almost takes that long, as we know, to kind of fully recover from a really big one. We're certainly feeling that in our 18 months since Ida.
Right, and so we know that just Laura and Ida has hit Louisiana directly, and you know, in hurricane terms, we call those 100-year storms.
Right.
And that's hit Louisiana and caused significant impact to our area.
Yeah.
So everybody
in back-to-back years.
Exactly, right back-to-back years. So
Right.
everybody always asks, what is Entergy doing proactively to fix our grid, to fix and harden our infrastructure? And so,
Okay.
so I'm happy to report that in the middle of December, Entergy presented to the Public Service Commission what we call our Future Ready plan.
Okay.
And that is a 10-year plan with a price tag of $9.6 billion with a B.
$9.6 billion.
Yes, sir.
In the next 10 years.
Next 10 years.
Okay.
And that would harden our electrical grid system throughout the state of Louisiana.
Which says that over the next 10 years, y'all are going to work really diligently to prevent us from having the number of outages and the number of problem areas that we run into with these big storms.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so over the next few months, the Public Service Commission will be reviewing that plan, and we hope that it's approved in its entirety, but they have the ability to look at it and approve what they want. But if it is approved in their entirety, over the next 5 years, $5.1 billion of that would be invested.
Okay. Now, where's that money come from? Is that, I mean, we're already really struggling. We're seeing our electrical costs dramatically increase. Is that going to affect myself or taxpayers?
It will,
Okay.
Keith. So the way Entergy is set up is that we are governed by the Public Service Commission.
Right.
So it will affect our bills.
Okay.
They will split that up amongst, and the Public Service Commission determines how that's going to be split up.
Okay. So
it
we'll
will be
find out more
similar.
about that,
Yeah,
right?
and it depends what they approve and for how long it can be split up amongst the bills.
Okay.
But it would be similar like your storm restoration charges. So
Okay.
instead of paying storm restoration charges, which, as you know, every few years some of those fall off, like Gustav Ike, I believe, just fell off of our bills.
Right.
They fall off. And so instead of having storm restoration charges added to your bills as storms go on and on and on,
Right.
hopefully this will be added on. And so over a long period of time, we won't have storm restoration charges moving forward.
Okay. Do we get some of those monies from somewhere else? I mean, are we getting some support?
So
Yeah, I had a feeling, right?
yes. So Entergy is trying a number of ways to get some
Okay.
support.
Okay.
Unlike other co-ops and like parish utilities and stuff can apply for FEMA money, Entergy has been stopped from being able to apply for that.
Right.
You know, it's kind of a weird setup Entergy is set up with, that we're governed by the Public Service Commission, but we're a private entity, so we can't apply for FEMA funding.
Okay.
There is some ways we're trying to apply for some federal funding.
Okay.
There's an Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that we're exploring to apply for. FEMA does have these BRIC grants, and that stands for Building Resiliency and Infrastructure Communities Program.
Okay.
So what Entergy has done recently is we've partnered with some local parish governments, and we've applied together for a public-private partnership.
Okay.
Which is the new way to go after monies, as you probably heard a lot
Right.
of public-private
That term
partnership.
has been used quite a bit.
Correct. And just in the recent months, we have applied for that FEMA BRIC grant money for with a few local parishes, so that money could come from FEMA, the federal government, and that is coming from projects in our resiliency plan. So if we get that money, that reduces the amount of money we have to put on customer bills.
And so it's always appreciated. I mean, sometimes we just know that these things need to take place. It's much like the height increase that we've experienced. This is a way to prevent those height increases after a major storm.
Yes, sir.
By being better prepared for that.
It's,
So just
everybody
a
always
look down
asks,
the
how is
road.
Entergy being proactive instead of reactive? Storm restoration
Right.
charges are the reactive way of doing things.
Right.
This is the proactive way of doing things.
And I love the fact that y'all are kind of at least looking for the future. This is what our plan is down the road, and this is the way we're going to do it. And I love the fact that you're trying to partner in some places where Entergy is sometimes kind of locked out, if you will, of some of those options. Y'all are really digging in to find some more options
We are.
about that, and
We
trying
definitely
to look for ways to do that. And so, again, that's something that you'll give us more information. We'll let you be able to come on once we know a little bit more coming from the governing body of that, which is
FEMA.
FEMA. Okay.
FEMA for the FEMA grants,
Right.
and then the Public Service Commission. We should
Okay.
hear in the next few months what is approved and at what level.
Okay.
I'll be happy to come share that once we know.
Yeah, and so again, we get these questions, you get them all the time. This is a good way to explain, this is why the bill is where it is. This is what the plan is, and this is where you can see it kind of fall off
Right.
down the road. But it's good to know that we are trying to build a better infrastructure.
Correct.
Trying to
And I'd
make
like to
that
point
better.
out, Keith, people are always worried about their utility bills, but the bulk of the bill that has gone up is really based on the fuel charges.
Fuel charges that have gotten so much higher,
Correct.
just getting you the energy you need from Entergy, right?
Correct, correct.
And it's just kind of a natural thing.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much. Appreciate the updates. Wonderful to have you on and discuss that. And so we'll bring you back, and we'll do that again when we have a
Absolutely.
little bit more time to go over that. But we appreciate your updates, Paul. It's wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And that will do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou Time when we continue.